Hey guys, Karen from Curl House. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, a certified trichologist, and the owner of the Curl House Hair Restoration Collection. And guess where I am, y'all? I am up in the kitchen. And those of you all who have been following me for a while know that the magic happens in the kitchen. So what you see before you is a variety of oils and butters. And the reason I have them before you is because we will be doing some testing to see, or for me to demonstrate or tell you what oils are good for your scalp. So I get this question all the time. Karen, what can I put on my scalp? My scalp is dry. Can I put hair grease on my scalp? Can I grease my scalp? Is that okay? What type of oil? What type of butter? Or people will say, well, I put this oil on my scalp and it caused my scalp to break out. So can you help me? So I decided that I would do this segment all about oils and what you can put on your scalp. So let's talk about it. When it comes to oils, the main thing with putting oils on your scalp, the biggest question is, will this oil clog my pores? Because that's what you do not want it to do. You don't want it to clog your pores because that can cause a whole host of problems. So we are going to discuss some oils that I have grabbed from around my house, and we are going to check their comedogenic rating. So in other words, that is a rating that is used to determine whether or not an oil or an ingredient will clog the pores or not. And the scale is from 0 to 5. So 0 means it won't clog the pore at all. 1, it's very low likelihood that it will clog pores. 2, it's moderately low likelihood. 3, moderate likelihood. 4, fairly high likelihood that it will clog the pores. And 5, it's a high likelihood that it will clog the pores. So that is the scale that we are going to use to determine what you can put on your scalp. And we're going to start with olive oil. So olive oil, I just literally got it out my kitchen pantry. Olive oil on the scalp. Do you think that you can put olive oil on the scalp and it will clog the pores? What do you think? Olive oil on the scalp? All right, let me tell you. Olive oil, in terms of its comedogenic rating, has a 2. So that means it is moderately low. So it's fairly unlikely that it will clog your pores. Now, you don't want, in terms of this comedogenic rating, anything 2 and below is good. That's a-okay. So you can use oils on the scalp that have a comedogenic rating of 2 or lower. So olive oil has a 2. Now, castor oil. What do you think about castor oil? A lot of people use castor oil. A lot of people put castor oil on the scalp because of all of its many benefits. Helping hair growth is one. But what do you think about castor oil? Castor oil is very thick. But do you think you can put it on the scalp and it won't clog your pores? What do you think? What rating do you give it? All right, well, let me tell you what castor oil, the rating is a 1. Woo! So yes, 1 means it is a low likelihood that it will clog the scalp. Castor oil, even though it's thick, it is safe for the scalp. Now, in terms of your hair texture, for those of you all with a finer hair texture, just because it won't clog the pores, that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to put it on your scalp because it is very thick, but it does have a rating of 1. That means it is safe for your scalp. Now, let's roll over to coconut oil. Y'all know coconut oil is my favorite. Coconut oil. What do you think the rating is for coconut oil? What do you think? You think you can put this on the scalp? Let's see. The rating for coconut oil, bam, a 4. That is a 4 for coconut oil. So that means it is fairly highly likely that coconut oil on your scalp will clog your pores. So I do not recommend that you put coconut oil on your scalp. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about the scalp. I'm not talking about the hair. I'm gonna do a separate video on the hair, but on the scalp. Stay away from coconut oil or coconut oil-based products for your scalp because it is highly likely that it is going to clog your pores. It's great for the hair. Coconut oil gives a great sheen to the hair. It penetrates the hair sheen. It's great for a pre-poo, so I love it for pre-poos. But stay away from coconut oil for the scalp. All right, next up. This is jojoba oil. It's in a separate container, but this is jojoba oil. It's a very light oil. Jojoba oil is great. Jojoba oil mimics the oil or the sebum that your scalp naturally produces. So I might be giving away the answer by giving you all that information. So what do you think about jojoba oil? You think you can put jojoba oil on your scalp? What you think? Yes or no? You think it clogs the pores? 2. No, it doesn't. Jojoba oil is fabulous for the scalp. Again, jojoba oil mimics the sebum that your scalp naturally produces. So when people ask, well, Karen, what can I put on my scalp? I always tend to go with jojoba oil because it is so light. And surprisingly, castor oil is much thicker in consistency than jojoba oil. But castor oil, again, has a rating of 1. So that doesn't clog the pores either. But jojoba oil, A-okay. Now, I grabbed this. This is a butter. The next one, this is shea butter. Now, shea butter, as you can see, is thick as well. What do you think? Shea butter, in terms of its rating, do you think shea butter will clog the pores? What you think? Yes or no? All right, shea butter has a rating of, there you go, anywhere from 0 to 2. So that means, again, it's under 2. It is highly unlikely that shea butter will clog your pores. Now, the last one that we're going to is the trusted hair grease. Now, this is by Design Essentials. This is just something I grabbed, so I'm not endorsing any type of hair grease. This is just one that I grabbed from the house. Hair grease. And hair grease is made up primarily of petroleum or mineral oil. So, hair grease. What do y'all think about hair grease? What have you heard about hair grease? Put it on your scalp. Don't put it on your scalp. You used to put it on your scalp back in the day, but you don't do it now. What do you think? Hair grease on the scalp. Does hair grease on the scalp clog the pores? What do y'all think? All right. Hair grease has a comedogenic rating. Y'all ready for this? Oops. Hold on. Let me get it. All right, we're back. Hair grease has a comedogenic rating. There you go. How you like them apples? Y'all like those apples? 0. That means it will not clog your pores. I repeat, hair grease or mineral oil has a rating of 0, y'all. 0. So that means it won't clog the pores. Were y'all surprised by that? I was surprised by it because, even as a specialist, I'm still learning and I'm still educating myself. So I too believe that, oh my God, don't put hair grease, it's going to clog the pores. I learned that somewhere years ago. And that's what I thought as well. But the researcher in me, as I've grown, I started doing more research and I realized, no, hair grease doesn't clog the pores. I'm actually going to do a separate video on that to explain what it means in terms of clogging the pores. That's going to be part 2 of this series. But no, it doesn't. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean with hair grease. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to make your scalp greasy. I'm not saying run out and start greasing your scalp. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying in terms of its ability to clog the pore, then the answer is no. Now, in terms of hair grease, a lot of hair greases have so many other ingredients that may not be beneficial for you. So those are things like parabens, for example, maybe in some types of hair grease. So if you're going to use hair grease, you can be mindful of what hair grease you're putting on your scalp, but it does not clog the pores. Hair grease does not. Now, I'll also give you another disclaimer about hair grease. Hair grease, again, if you have like fine hair, you may not want to put hair grease on your scalp because it is still greasy, very, very greasy, but it will soothe a dry scalp. So in other words, if your scalp is tight, if it feels dry, then hair grease or mineral oil does soothe a dry scalp. Now, the drawback of hair grease, because it is so thick, is that if you have if you have like overactive sebaceous glands, or if you have dandruff in your scalp, then you may want to stay away from the hair grease, because if you have dandruff of the scalp, or if you're producing too much oil, then something as thick as grease is going to create an even bigger problem. So you're putting grease on top of grease. So sebum, again, is oil, and it's the oil that your scalp naturally produces. So if you're putting heavy oil on top of too much oil that's being overproduced by your sebaceous gland, then that's going to create a mess. But if you have just a dry scalp, and if you need something to soothe your scalp, dry scalp meaning a tight scalp, then hair grease is okay. So it's really up to you. It is your preference. I don't use grease on my scalp. Quite frankly, I've never really used anything on my scalp until relatively recently, when I started dealing with some scalp issues due to some hair loss issues. I will put my follicle stimulating growth drops on my scalp because they are water based. So water is actually the only thing that can hydrate your scalp. So those growth drops are made or housed in water for that reason. But I never really put anything on my scalp other than that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If there was a time years ago when I got sister locks for about a year, oh, my scalp was so dry. And it was dry because I couldn't wash my hair. I could only wash my hair like once a month. Like, that was foreign to me. Washing my hair once a month was foreign. So my scalp was super dry during that time. But in general, if you don't have a dry scalp, your scalp was really created to take care of itself. So I hope this little in the kitchen demonstration really helped you to understand oils and what to put on your scalp and what not to put on your scalp. Again, I am going to do a part 2 video that's going to be more about hair grease or products that do clog the scalp and why and what that looks like. That's coming up. That's going to be the second video to this one. But again, these are some oils that you can put on your scalp. You can go online and just look it up yourself. You can look at the comedogenic rating of oils, and that should help you. And these are carrier oils and butters, not essential oils. All right, so I think that sums it up for today. I hope you liked this video. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you can get notifications of my next videos. And if you are someone who is interested in learning how to maximize your hair growth through lifestyle practices, please join my wait list. I'll pop the link above to my health and hairness program launching this spring. And until we talk again, stay fabulous.